Life moves fast. The world expects people to react quickly, speak quickly, and decide quickly. Even when the mind is not ready, noise is everywhere. Stress builds without warning. Pressure shows up even on calm days. In this kind of world, many search for something solid, something stable, something that does not break when everything else feels uncertain. This is where the Stoic lifestyle enters. Not as a trend, not as a dramatic change, but as a steady way of living that keeps a person grounded when life becomes unpredictable. People choose Stoicism because they want control over something real, their inner world. They want clarity in a time when emotion takes over too easily. They want discipline in a time when distraction is always waiting. They want a way of thinking that doesn't collapse when life gets heavy. Stoicism gives that, not by promising perfection, but by teaching the mind to stay steady when pressure rises. Many start their journey with a simple desire, to stop being pulled around by every emotion. Anger, fear, frustration, doubt, they show up without invitation. Most people react to them without thinking. The Stoic lifestyle teaches a different approach. It teaches awareness. It teaches the ability to pause, to observe, to choose the response instead of being ruled by impulse. This alone changes everything. Once the mind realizes it does not need to react blindly, the world becomes easier to navigate. Others choose Stoicism because they want strength. Not physical strength, but the kind that lasts when circumstances change. The kind that does not fall apart when expectations fail. Stoicism trains this strength by showing that life will not always cooperate. Plans break. People disappoint. The world shifts in ways no one prepares for. The Stoic mindset does not expect life to be smooth. It expects challenge. It expects discomfort. It expects change. By expecting it, the impact becomes softer. It no longer feels like an attack. It becomes part of the training. There is also a deeper reason people choose the Stoic lifestyle: responsibility. Many feel tired of blaming the world for everything that goes wrong. They want a philosophy that shifts the focus back to their own actions. Stoicism teaches that the only thing truly owned is one's character, not the outcome, not the reaction of others, not the behavior of the world. Just the choices made each day. This gives a kind of freedom many never feel until they start living with intention. It removes excuses. It removes unnecessary noise. It turns attention toward what can actually change. People also choose Stoicism for peace. Not the kind that hides from problems, but the kind that stands steady in the middle of them. Stoicism does not remove challenges. It sharpens the mind so challenges lose their chaos. When the mind is trained to accept what cannot be changed, the stress begins to fade. When the mind is trained to focus on what can be controlled, energy is no longer wasted. This creates a strong kind of calm, calm with a backbone, calm with purpose. There is another reason people turn towards Stoicism. They want consistency. Many philosophies and trends promise improvement but depend on perfect conditions. Stoicism works anywhere. It works in crowded cities, quiet homes, high-pressure jobs, difficult relationships, and unpredictable situations. It works because it focuses on principles that do not change. Virtue, discipline, self-control, clear thinking. These values do not lose power with time. They work in any era, any lifestyle, any environment. Some choose the Stoic path because they feel overwhelmed by the expectations of others. Opinions, criticism, judgment, they can weigh down the mind. Stoicism teaches that the views of others are outside personal control. It teaches that the only judgment that matters is one's own. This is not arrogance, it is freedom. It helps people walk through life without carrying unnecessary weight. It helps them stay focused on their purpose instead of being shaped by every opinion around them. Stoicism also attracts those who want to understand themselves. The philosophy encourages reflection. It encourages the study of thoughts, reactions, and habits. It teaches that self-knowledge creates power. People who live without examining themselves often feel lost. People who understand who they are and what they value move with intention. Stoicism makes this process simple. It asks honest questions. It pushes for clarity. And through that clarity, many discover a more grounded version of themselves. There is a practical reason too. Stoicism is not a philosophy that sits on bookshelves. It is something that can be lived daily. People apply it in conversations, challenges, work, relationships, and personal goals. It teaches that every moment is a chance to practice discipline and patience. Every small decision is part of the training. Over time, this builds a lifestyle that feels structured and purposeful.